There are times in life when you can see the problem clearly, but you can't say a word. You see someone heading down the wrong path. You feel the urge to fix them, to open their eyes, to shake them awake. But something holds you back. And that something is called restraint. And Krishna knew it well. In the Bhagavad Gita, there's a verse that most people skip over. It doesn't shout like the call to battle. It doesn't echo like the truths about the eternal self. But it speaks to the quiet moments, the ones where you want to act, but wisdom tells you to wait. It says, "The wise do not disturb the ignorant who are attached to their actions. Instead, they continue their own path, performing their duties, gently guiding through example." At first, this sounds cold. Why wouldn't the wise help? Why stay quiet when you could speak? But when you look deeper, you begin to see what Krishna was really pointing to. Not apathy, but timing. Not avoidance, but patience. He wasn't asking us to ignore the world's struggles. He was showing us that real transformation doesn't come from interference. It comes when people are ready to see for themselves. And that readiness cannot be forced. Think about water. If you try to catch a fish in still water, you might create waves, splash around, stir up the mud. But the more you disturb the surface, the cloudier everything becomes. You can't see the fish. You can't even find your own hands. But if you wait, if you sit quietly on the edge, letting the water settle, letting the ripples disappear, suddenly, everything becomes clear. Wisdom is like that. It doesn't throw stones to create clarity. It watches the water. It studies the flow. And it waits until the surface clears itself. Krishna waited. Jew. When Arjuna stood trembling between two armies, Krishna didn't begin with advice. He didn't throw wisdom at him before the confusion set in. He waited for the storm. He waited for Arjuna's inner world to break. He waited until Arjuna himself said the words, "I am confused. I don't know what's right. I surrender to you. Please guide me." That was the moment. Not before. Not after. Because until someone feels their own chaos, they won't value your clarity. And that's something the wise understand deeply. You cannot throw light into a mind that's not ready to see. You cannot pour truth into a heart that is clinging to illusion. You cannot speed up someone else's awakening. You can only stand beside them and wait until their own storm clears the path. It's not easy. Especially when you care. You watch someone you love trapped in a cycle. You see them chasing what you know will hurt them. You hear them repeat patterns you once lived through yourself. And everything inside you wants to fix it. But wisdom tells you, don't stir the water. If they are not asking, don't preach. If they are not seeking, don't instruct. Let the storm come. Let the current break the surface on its own. And when they finally turn to you, not because they want approval, but because they're truly ready, then you speak. Not with force, not with drama, just with stillness. With the kind of clarity that only comes from someone who has been through their own storm and come out softer, not louder. Because that's what makes people listen. Not how many words you use. Not how strong your arguments are. But how deeply you've lived what you are saying. And how patiently you've waited to be asked. Krishna knew Arjuna. He knew his fears, his pride, his pain. He didn't need to lecture him into action. He just needed to wait for the moment when the illusion cracked. And it did. Not when Krishna forced it, but when Arjuna surrendered. That surrender is the real beginning of wisdom. But surrender can't be forced. Just like a flower can't be pulled open, it blooms when the time is right. And so, the wise wait. They stay close. They hold space. They trust the process of becoming. They know that trying to help someone too early is not kindness, it's control. Real love honors timing. Real wisdom honors timing. And real strength lies in the ability to watch without needing to fix. So the next time you feel the urge to correct, to argue, to prove, pause. Ask yourself, are they ready? Or are you trying to pour water into a sealed cup? Because even truth, when offered too soon, can feel like a threat. Let the water stir itself. Let the storm rise on its own. And when they finally look up from their own chaos and ask for light, then you speak, not to impress, but to remind them of what they already knew, but had forgotten. Because in the end, the wisest voices do not speak to be heard. They speak to awaken. And they wait until the soul is listening.